here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, we love you, know. We came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, the sports show.
Yeah. That was so pathetic.
That was terrible. We got to do it again. Let me play the intro again. Yeah. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Yerrr Sports Show. I am your host, Big Baby, a.k.a. the soul of R&B. To my bottom left, we have the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon.
Cody has taken your place as a civil rights leader.
Listen. I just
Say I look like it was about to twitch.
want to tell the world that I'm going to have a half white, half black baby girl.
Right. Like we didn't know. And then we have to my bottom right, we have BK Matt.
What's going on? I ain't gonna hold you. I saw the little eulogy that Cody Rhodes was giving. I'm like, yo, I swear he's Pete. He has to be Pete. They related. He got a little American dream in him. He don't even know.
I mean, I would never get a neck tattoo though like that.
Nah, it's not wrong with neck tattoos.
No, just that neck tattoo. That one.
I don't like neck tattoos at all.
I'm not gonna hold you. I think Brady took him to a cookout and he kind of met Uncle Ray and cousin E-Bob, and it was like, you know what, that look hot. That might give me the
only time I ever thought Brandy went to the cookout was that time she tried to step to Jade, and she came.
I still couldn't.
Mad hood.
Don't get me wrong. I liked it.
Y'all dragging it.
And
I liked it, but I didn't believe it.
Right.
So, and to my top right, the queen, the head of the Yerrr Sports Show table, Queen Tay.
Hey,
7K Tay in the building.
7K Tay
in the building. Let's go.
Acknowledge her.
Acknowledge her. Shout outs to we got a lot of new visitors because we're using a different platform because Facebook wants to tweak and block us from something I posted in 2018.
I'm about to say you in Facebook jail like Shanties? That's crazy.
No. I can post on Facebook. I just can't go live. So shout outs to Nikki on Vegas, Miss Murr, my friends Waffles. Like we got a few new viewers, so welcome to the madness. How's everybody's week?
Everybody's week. My week was
you about to tell everybody week.
I'm talking for everybody, but my week was kind of a roller coaster. On Thursday, I said goodbye to my aunt, who was my first best friend in this whole world. The only person I have 2 matching tattoos with. No, they're not neck tattoos. And today I'm rocking the shirt Black Not Dangerous. You know, Lulu and Sam, they've been guests on this show a couple of times, and their brother passed away last year, and in his honor, they released a shirt line for his saying, you know, just having empowerment for Blacks and showing people that, you know, we may be Black, but we're not dangerous.
Most definitely. Shouts to Shaq, who's in here, you know, our longtime follower, the man with the plan.
Boy, Shaq is part of the team. Y'all just don't know.
Shaq is definitely part of the team. Shaq gotta get a shirt too.
At first, I thought you were talking about Shaquille O'Neal, who talk like this, like the bouncing ball.
He does talk like that, though.
He does talk like that.
There's a little bouncing ball on all the words Shaq's saying.
I'm gonna need him to get at Kendrick Perkins because he wilding in these streets. I don't know.
We'll talk about that.
You saw my post?
Yes, I saw it.
Not talking about Tay. You saw my post?
Probably not.
He said Eric Spoelstra is the top 5 NBA coach of all time.
All time?
All time.
I can give you right now, but I'm not gonna give you all time.
I can even give you the last 10 years, but not all time.
He's underrated for sure.
He's definitely underrated. But
he's one of the longest tenured coaches of this generation. People don't realize how many years he's racking up under his belt. But top 5 all time?
Hell no.
Ooh, I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't even think top 10.
He might King Gray's top 10. I mean,
y'all too liberal with y'all top 10.
because
I said he might King Gray's.
Yeah,
I didn't say it was a definite.
You got coaches like Lenny Wilkins that a lot of people are gonna forget is all-time winning.
Exactly.
But people are gonna be like, "Oh, he ain't got no rings," but the man's all-time winningest coach in the league.
He ain't got no rings.
But you got Lenny, you got
Chuck Daly,
you got Phil Jackson. You get what I'm saying? You got all these other coaches.
You got his own president, Pat Riley.
Thank you so much.
Come on, man. These niggas, they wilding. I don't get what they saying. Like he's not top 5. I'm sorry.
When I see a neck tattoo, I know somebody has about 3 baby mamas and a credit score of like 396.
That is profiling.
And he put his finger under the words when he reads. That might have been something that I would have been attracted to at 21. But 30-something-year-old Tay, I need a little bit more refinement.
She said, "Put the finger down to read." That's crazy.
One guy in the class that he bad as hell, and then every time he got an attitude because the teacher called on him to read, and then he put his finger under every word, like the patient of proclamation. I'm like, nah.
Basically, he reads like how Kendrick Perkins talk. But yeah, I said it. I don't care.
You know what? And no, I see your cheap plug for Twitter, Matt. Let me tell you something. I'm not following you because you didn't follow me. So
I didn't even. I'm just trying to understand Twitter. Dre's been yelling at. It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
It's easier than navigating Facebook and Instagram. All you gotta do is write a couple of ignorant statements, and there you go. You have a Twitter.
Well, I'm working on it. I haven't.
Finger under the words, Nikki. Finger under the words, baby.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get into it, Tay. And I don't know your thing on Twitter. I gotta get you. I got you. Dre didn't link us. I don't know.
No, don't blame Dre.
I don't know nothing. Ain't like you gonna get in trouble anyway. Cut it out. Like I'm saying, I don't know nothing about Twitter. I'm still trying to learn it.
While we're on
Twitter,
while we're on this subject, Matt, how was your week?
Like I said, last 2 weeks, Coca-Cola don't know that slavery ain't over.
Right.
It's gonna be a crazy summer. They don't know that slavery ended decades ago, but
you don't get fired.
Hey,
right, you gotta relax.
Look, it's bad when I'm getting off at 9 a.m. Ain't nobody up but Jesus when I get off work. It's bad.
At 9 a.m.
I'm so well after working 20-something hours.
I'm say people should be up at 9 a.m.
People should be at work
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Gotta relax.
You gotta relax.
Yeah, you gotta relax.
Gotta do this.
And Pete, how was your week?
What's going on with your hair? Why is it all slicked back?
Where's the swoop? He's tired of us making fun of him. That's what it is. He's tired of us making fun of him. But we're gonna find a way to make fun of you here, like with your hair like this, because now
you look like a serial killer.
Well, beats him looking like Otis.
Who's Otis? Who's Otis?
Otis from Temptations.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It just for some reason it just became a little easy to style it this way.
You cut it, didn't it? You cut it.
I haven't cut it.
I cut it. You can tell.
No, I have not cut it since the last time I cut it. But this is one of the hairstyles that I've used a lot, especially when I was like in high school and stuff. This is why a lot of people thought I was Italian for a very long time and not Puerto Rican.
To be fair, I thought you were Italian before I first met you. Then I saw you in your whole Puerto Rican fit.
That's cute.
He had every Puerto Rican thing on. I thought he had the Puerto Rican uptowns on too. There was one time.
Oh my God! Remember those?
Oh,
goodness!
We were at a Battle Club event, and this is the first time I seen him outside of his commentary fit. Puerto Rico. I'm just like.
He had the beads chain too.
He might as well.
Boy, that was the style when Lumi D gave us with that song.
Oh, when Gasolina was popping. Oh my God.
That early 2000s reggaeton era.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to that last night for some reason. It took me back to the time where I used to party with, nobody parties like Puerto Ricans. You start partying at 3:00 in the afternoon till 3:00 the next day.
2 days later.
Yeah. Still, he had a whoop that like I
They
saw.
feed you though. They feed you though, for sure.
I was sitting there like, how many songs do they know? They know everything.
Word for word.
Very true. Week's been good. I mean, the weather's getting a little bit better, which is a good thing. And thankfully, my allergies have not started acting up major yet.
I hate this weather. I hate the sunshine. I hate 80 degrees. I don't like nothing room temperature, not even my room. I want all my rooms to be 60 degrees, 65. It matches the temperature of my soul.
Yes. Sweater weather all day.
All day.
Some really good news that I found this week that I heard. It changed.
You didn't catch that. It matches the temperature of my soul. You think? Like, wow. Okay. We're all right. Okay. Go ahead, Pete.
Matt, you caught that. You caught that because that was for you.
I caught that. I'm like, wow.
I don't know if y'all heard the news, but Legends of the Hidden Temple is being brought back as an adult game show.
You see.
They have to chill.
If this was like 25 years ago, I was ready. My knees are too old, and they're gonna be doing it in real life situation. You're not even doing it in a studio,
right?
No.
Imagine them like, all right, you have to get out. You have to get out of the pink houses. That's one of the.
I'm just waiting for them to mess up. And
yes.
cast somebody who gonna just straight knock one of them temple guards out. You try to sneak up on them.
Let me tell you something. They had Legends of the Hidden Nitra. Me and Matt will win every
Legends of the Hidden Nitra. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But like Matt, you start at the bottom.
Soon as you start popping them, nah, boy. Like, come on. Don't do that. Don't sneak up on me. I'm like, I'm sorry, Your Honor. They should have checked me at the metal detector.
Oh man, not Your Honor, because it's going that far.
Sorry.
So
you shouldn't be popping up on black people like that. It's just not fun.
Like, why didn't they come out with this when people who actually watch the show could participate in this?
Right.
Like, most of us are like in our 30s. The injuries throughout the years has compromised our ability to be able to live out the dream. Because when I was younger, I used to swear.
Compromise like hell, bro.
I mean, give me some trivia, as Matt will know, and I'll be able to knock it out the park. But all that running and jumping and stuff, I'm too big for that.
I wanted to do American Gladiators. I wanted to do Family Feud. I do not want to do Hidden Temple.
I wanted to do Guts. I wanted to do Nickelodeon Guts.
Yeah,
and I wanted to do Double Dare.
I did want to do Double Dare too.
Double Dare too. I had a chance to visit the Double Dare set when I was a kid. When my family took me to Disney.
But my man
to Nickelodeon Studios.
Yeah, Universal Studios is over there. It's across from Disney.
We playing semantics today, Dre.
No, they're like on two separate sides.
So what?
Like
this was 1990. Universal Studios.
No, I feel you. I play with you.
Don't play with me today.
I was like 7 years old when I wanted to be slime.
Did you get to take the slime?
Yes.
No.
I'm not gonna tell. We're not gonna tell everybody what it is. No, we actually can tell everybody what it is because everybody grown now.
Y'all was eating the slime?
It's pudding.
Pudding. Lying.
It's green pudding, bro. That's it.
I never knew that.
That's it.
I never knew that.
Why do you think Amanda Bynes and Danny Tamborelli used to eat it all the time on Figure It Out when they would get slimed?
Like who's
you said Lori Denberg. I'm not going
Lori Denberg, Danny Tamborelli, Amanda Bynes.
I'm not going there.
Oh, you said all that. You said Figure It Out.
Well, no, because they used to be the panelists.
They used to be on the panelists, yeah.
Next.
My week was good. So I guess I'll do it a bit publicly since it's our platform. But I spent the last 5 years at JFK. And now I'm moving over to LaGuardia Airport in a higher position. Again, publicly thank everybody who's I worked with. I'll have a post later or when this drops, the post will be out. But thank everybody who I worked with. Everybody who pushed me to get to this level, and now day one is coming next week. So
swag is different now that you got a promotion.
Now he got money.
Yo, why y'all in my pocket?
I'm just saying. I volunteered, but since 7K Tay up here and that Money Sacks Big Baby over there, I mean, y'all,
I'm sorry.
I said drinks is on you.
I said drinks. Okay,
I said drinks and dinner was on you because you got a promotion. You got a promotion.
Right. You also work 24 hours out the day.
Exactly.
You also work 24 hours out the day, so you gotta have money.
20
I got
hours,
kids.
12 of those was overtime. So
I got kids.
Drinks is on you.
I got kids.
I told y'all I'm broke.
Hi, Heath Slater.
Oh, we know. we know.
I mean, I got birthdays coming up. Shane's birthday coming up in like July. Then I got the 2 babies in September. I'm
all right. We're gonna celebrate everybody's birthday in 1 month, and it's all on Matt.
What?
No, and then the next month when Peter have a show, when he makes up, it's gonna be all on Peter too.
I'm just saying, 7K Tay and y'all promotions is a lot better than mine. I'm just throwing that out there. Like,
I know what you're talking about. Let's get into quick hits, Pete.
All right.
I'm gonna jump right into it right about
my Coca-Cola page.
Yeah, theme when we have to change it because YouTube want to play.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to change that because we get messed up by it. But let's get into quick hits for the week of May the 15th. And let's start in Major League Baseball, where the Oakland A's are exploring options for relocation, possibly leaving Oakland in the Oakland Coliseum, a iconic view in Coliseum in Oakland. When you watch it in baseball games, you've also seen it in football games back when the Raiders would play there. And obviously the Raiders now in Vegas. Actually, Vegas, one of the spots that the Oakland A's are looking at. So Oakland might lose 2 of its 3 teams to Vegas.
That's so detrimental. But go ahead.
Leaving just the Warriors in Golden State and Oakland. Moving to the NFL, the Packers are circling the wagons. Earlier in the week, they signed former Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles to the team. Now, to be fair, a lot of people were, including myself, thought about this as a disrespectful sign to Aaron Rodgers, a.k.a. Dat Man. But if we...
A.k.a. Matt's man, not that man.
If you're actually looking at the roster for the Green Bay Packers, they had no other quarterbacks under contract besides Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, and so they needed a backup / third string quarterback, hence Blake Bortles. But Coach LaFleur, in a press conference a couple of days ago this week, stated adamantly that he very, very badly and would do anything for Aaron Rodgers to stay in Green Bay. Of course, Green Bay circling the wagons.
I know Aaron Rodgers don't talk to his family, right? Just letting y'all know that.
Yo, every time something happens with Aaron Rodgers, they bring that. Yo, he don't talk to his family. So, what type of man is this y'all trying to find?
I'm just saying, it takes everything. I'm just saying, like, if you don't talk to your moms, like, it got to be some deep, like, something is wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't talk to his family, though. Good.
And a story coming out of Denver, Broncos offensive tackle Jawan James.
Wait. I ran upstairs and almost fell because I heard all this blasphemous talk. Y'all announced that man right. He's our MVP. That man.
Oh, I'm glad he muted himself at the right time.
No, I did that. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead, continue. We don't hear that.
You saw his star pajama pants? I'm through.
But a story coming out of Denver this week, offensive tackle Jawan James, who was released by the Broncos, is actually considering a grievance to the NFL Players Association to recoup more than $10 million in lost salary. He was released last Friday, and the Broncos released him under the non-football injury designation, meaning that they have no contractual obligations and can void his salary and would not be required to pay his full base salary if they are able to show that the player was injured outside of the team facilities. The NFL send out a memo to coaches and teams reminding them that they must continue to remind players to work out in team facilities, as that teams have an abundance of injury prevention opportunities available. But this is a big issue, a prickly issue with the NFL Players Association and NFL teams, because a lot of NFL players work out privately at other facilities that are not team-based. And if they get injured during these workouts and the team releases them, they are not contractually obligated to pay any of their salary.
Hola, mi gente.
Hey, baby.
Shouts to Amanda and Cezone Talk. We had a very spicy episode. If you listen to it, you would probably look at this a whole different way, but make sure you take a chance and listen to it.
The whole weekend with y'all, I already know what it's like.
Moving to the NBA. Playoffs are right around the corner. The Knicks currently playing right now. Yes, I know. Things are finally growing in, right? And NBA playoffs are right around the corner. And the Knicks, who are currently playing right now, live, in their second to last game of the season. Sorry, I got caught up there.
You sound like me, Pete.
Yeah, in their second to last game of the season, still have a chance to secure the 4th seed in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference playoff race. They have to win their last 2 games of the season and hope that Miami loses one of their remaining 2 games. Miami plays Milwaukee tonight and Detroit tomorrow. And the hope is Miami loses one of those 2 games. And because the Knicks swept the Hawks this season, the Knicks would be guaranteed the number 4 seed in the playoffs. Right now, they are the number 6 seed in the playoffs.
Well, wow, the heartbeat of New York basketball is back, though. I tell you, I think New York basketball doesn't work without the Knicks.
Doesn't.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Speaking about Miami, Udonis Haslem entered his first game of his 18th NBA season. He spent the entire year with getting DNP's coach's decisions, entered his first game of his 18th season in the league, and played 3 minutes before being ejected from the game.
Straight gone.
He's a goon. I love that energy. I love that energy. But the energy was at Dwight Howard, so it's kind of like,
First,
but still.
Udonis Haslem made NBA history, becoming the first player ever to have played in the NBA one NBA game in a season and be ejected from it.
Hey, sometimes you gotta you gotta lay that force down. Let them know you ain't nothing.
Miami Hall of Famer.
Bunch of goons in Miami in that Miami Heat uniform. I swear, bunch of goons.
Speaking of records that were broken and set this week, Russell Westbrook cemented himself as the career triple-double king on Monday when he broke Oscar Robertson's career triple-double record. Oscar Robertson held that record for 47 years, had 181 career triple-doubles, and on Monday, with 28 points, 21 rebounds, and 13 assists, Russell Westbrook broke that record with 182. I believe he's gotten a couple more this week since then to increase that record. But here's what's interesting about Russell Westbrook. Let's look at this through the numbers, team, right? In Russell Westbrook's first 6 seasons in the league, he had only 19 triple-doubles in 6 seasons. Then, in his 7th season, he gets 18 in a single season. And then his 8th season in the league, his MVP season, where he has 42 in the single season. He then gets 67 over the next 3 seasons. And Russell Westbrook, I mean, if you look at just those numbers, his first 6 seasons, you would have never thought this is where Russell Westbrook would be as a player, and then he just exploded.
30 is everything.
It's absolutely it's amazing. Sorry, it's GTA outside, but continue.
And for people who complain about the way that Russell Westbrook plays, for his career, teams are 136-45 when Russell Westbrook gets a triple-double. This year, the Wizards are 21-14 when Russell Westbrook gets a triple-double.
Fighting for a playing spot.
But that goes back to my conversation from before and talking about the others. That's the conversation from last week. Russell Westbrook got have a triple-double all he wants. His others, and even him sometimes, are not playing defense or not playing the best defense. So you're getting these monster triple-double numbers, which I'm not scoffing at, but the team isn't winning. So
I think they got a chance of being the Pacers though, so I ain't even worried about it.
I don't think so.
Speaking about milestones, a little bit of a leak coming out. The 2021 class of the NBA Hall of Fame will be announced Sunday, but a small story leaking out as it has been confirmed that Detroit Pistons all-time blocks leader Ben Wallace will be entering the NBA Hall of Fame as part of the 2021 class.
That's too soon. It's like Jay-Z getting elected into the Hall of Fame the same time as Tina Turner, which makes no sense to me. But go ahead.
And the second to last story, also in the NBA, this actually just breaking earlier today. Legendary NBA commentator and broadcaster Marv Albert will be retiring at the end of this playoff run. Will be retiring at the end of the playoffs. His final game will be the Eastern Conference Finals on TNT, where he has been the broadcaster for over 20 years. He will be 80 years old next month and has been calling NBA games for 60 years. He called his first game when he was 21 years old for the Knicks in 1963.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
You gotta relax. You gotta relax. You gotta relax. I'm begging you.
Sometimes I wish.
Yes.
I wish people could see the chat, and sometimes I don't.
You gotta relax. You really gotta relax.
But
oh my god, hey, you co-signed it, Pete. Really?
It's true.
It had what?
With stockings, he was wearing stockings.
Would you stop? Stop. Jeez.
Also,
congratulations, Marv Albert. What a storied, long career you've had.
Yes.
The voice of a generation.
Definitely a voice of a generation.
And the underworld, too.
Would you stop?
The True Blue was going on.
I mean, I remember before Marv Albert became the voice of TNT.
True Blue for joining.
Before Marv Albert became the voice, I grew up with Marv Albert as the Knicks announcer. That was the thing. Marv Albert was synonymous with Knick games at MSG.
Yeah.
Sure was.
And then, obviously, the national stage becoming the TNT announcer.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, we're just losing some good sports guys. And now we lost Chris Webber. Now we about to lose, man.
Oh, you got to get muted again. Yeah. Yo, stop.
I like Chris Webber. I like Chris Webber.
I love Chris Webber.
I don't like, see what it is? I don't like him on 2K because he be spewing stupidness. But
so
like,
what's wrong with you?
No, it's because I like everybody else, so I just got to play through it. But
it's like he's ruining the experience for me.
Right, he's ruining the experience. And,
I do not want to be on TNT
most 2K people would be like, yes. But as far as him doing commentary, Chris C. Webb, He's good at what he does. And please, if you haven't watched, not just us but everybody, watch his interview on All the Smoke. Really good.
It must have didn't drop.
It dropped. It dropped. Yes. But thank you, Pete, for quick hits.
We got one last thing. That was the second last story. The last story is, of course, the big news that everyone heard last night, breaking late last night on Twitter. Sad news coming out of the world of professional wrestling. Jerome Young, who we all knew as New Jack from ECW, passed away at the young age of 58 years old. Reports saying that he suffered a heart attack in North Carolina where he had lived. This was reports according to his wife. Obviously, anyone who's seen Dark Side of the Ring, the story on New Jack, just really brought to life. I learned about New Jack later. I wasn't watching original ECW. I was probably watching ECW near the end of ECW. And so I didn't get to see the height of New Jack. And obviously I then, as I became a later wrestling fan as an adult, saw his stuff in Mid-South Wrestling, which was just insanity, but greatness at the same time. Most people just know New Jack as a hardcore, crazy man in the wrestling ring, but New Jack revered by many wrestlers speaking about his softer side, his caring side, and his conversational side that a lot of people don't get to see necessarily. So our condolences go out to the family and friends of Jerome Young, a.k.a. New Jack.
AKA one of the best promos I ever heard in my life. I was laughing when I heard it.
Oh, man.
I saw that, it's so coincidental. I saw that randomly for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and was just like,
I was laughing, yo. I was dying laughing, yo. I must have been like 13 when I first saw that. And of course, all that promo happened like 94, 90, like 93, 94, right?
You talking about the Smoky Mountain promo when he talks about OJ?
Yeah. So I heard it for the first time when I was 12. So when I heard that, I said, yo, I like that guy. And I actually met him when I was like 17. I met him in Maryland. I think it was MCW. I'm not really too sure where it was. It was some indie show, and he was wrestling there.
I think Dave Sapolsky put a story on Twitter about, obviously, when he was working ECW way back in the day. He said there was a show in Pennsylvania, and Gabe was in the parking lot handing out programs and flyers, and a group of white guys walked up to Gabe and said, is New Jack on the show tonight? And he said, yeah. And they said, somebody go tell New Jack the Clan here for him. And it was like they went inside to tell New Jack, and apparently New Jack was like, oh, yeah? Tell him I'll be outside to meet him.
Hilarious.
New Jack reminded me of my Uncle Bourne, yo. There's really dudes like New Jack in the hood.
If you haven't seen the life and crimes of New Jack, Dark Side of the Ring season 2, please look that up. It was a great episode.
It was one of the funniest episodes I've ever watched. The funniest. Yo, I'm about to watch it when we get off of this and I get my car. It's gonna be funny. In memory.
Thank you, Pete. Pete. That was, I'm about to say Pete Heat. Well, I don't know why I called you that. That was quick hits for the week of May the 15th. Let's get into today's topics right now. Today's favorite time of year is here. Well, almost here. The NFL schedule has been put out, and a lot of interesting games. I know Cowboy fans are pretty upset that they have to play big game Tom in the first game of the season after talking crazy all off season. Like, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that.
They're still talking crazy. They're saying that they're gonna have like a 14-3 record. I heard a few Cowboys fans saying, and I'm just like, really? For real? Like still?
Yo,
Still saying that?
drugs are crazy.
Shout out to Ashley.
Shout
out to Ashley Baker.
Shout out to Ashley Baker. Shout out to Ashley. We love you, Ashley, but man.
And Jets get the Ghost of Christmas Past first game of the season because we got to go down, play Carolina and Sam Darnold.
That game's gonna be a draw.
No way, game.
That game's gonna be a draw.
Who's the Jets quarterback again?
Jack Wilson, quarterback out of BYU.
That took y'all entirely too long.
I was actually reading something about a scheduling quirk on this year's NFL schedule. That's why.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of pressure being put on the Buccaneers to kind of reign supreme. Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that they started the season off shaky. Matt is frozen, by the way. They started the season off really shaky. They didn't really hit their stride until the second half of the NFL season. If not even that. They didn't really hit their stride until almost playoffs. So while I do feel like they will beat the Cowboys on the first week, I don't see them like just smashing and bashing everybody throughout the season.
Same. As I go through the list, Bleacher Report came out with a list of the hardest and the through the easiest schedules. I'm just going to give out a few names. Pittsburgh has the hardest schedule, apparently. Green Bay has the fourth hardest schedule. Go down further. The Jets are tied for 19th in terms of schedule, so they have a decent schedule. You go down to the bottom. Philly has the easiest schedule. They need it. Dallas has the second easiest schedule, and they need it as well. Tampa Bay is at the bottom at 29, and they have a very easy schedule. And the Giants have, the 25th, on 25th. So the teams that we're talking about are teams that kind of were in news last year. Oh, and the Washington football team, number 15.
This is an NFC East favored schedule, which leads me to believe is I think that we're going to have more competition coming out the NFC East in a good way this season as opposed to in a bad way. They're all scrapping for that wild card position. So we'll see.
Well, the Eagles have it interesting because the Eagles have the easiest strength of schedule this year. The Eagles have the easiest strength of schedule this year, but they also do not play a single road game against a team that had a winning record last year. So all the teams they play on the road this upcoming season all had losing records last year, which could bode well for them. And here's an interesting scheduling thing. One of the teams for the last 5 years, one of the teams that had the latest bye week in the season ended up or had a late bye week, won the Super Bowl. Patriots in 2016 had a bye week in week 9, won the Super Bowl. Eagles had a week 10 in 2017, won. Patriots in 2018, week 11. Kansas City in 2019, week 12, won the Super Bowl. And last year, the Buccaneers had a bye week in week 13 and won the Super Bowl. So if that holds, if that crazy quirk holds, that means that we got to look at one of the 4 teams that have the latest bye week, and that is a week 14 bye week. Indianapolis Colts,
no.
New England Patriots,
No.
Miami Dolphins,
No.
and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hell no.
That's over.
But
just to jump in that real quick, so I want to add to that with a question. Does this mean, like, you remember last year where Pittsburgh played, they had their bye week, and they had their bye week super early and then played out the season. Do you think that if a team plays out the season and gets to that bye week and they're still like pretty decent by that time. Is there going to be so much of an issue of losing momentum? Like if the Buccaneers were to have that, their older team, and they're starting and stopping at, let's say 10 week 10, week 11, will that be an issue for them down the line?
I think it depends on the team. Because football's a game of attrition. It really is. We could talk about baseball having the longest schedule. You could talk about basketball having a bunch of back-to-back games and stuff like that. But football has the most damaging game, and that's why it's only once a week, right? And so it's really about, using that bye week to get you the necessary rest. Now, if you're a team that's got that bye week early in the season, and then you got to run the rest of the table, that could really be detrimental because you don't get a time to rest injuries. You don't get a time to do that. And if you just happen to be one of maybe two teams in your division who are also having a great run, you can't really pull anybody out to rest. You got to keep your foot on the pedal. And so I think it could help a team that has a late bye week if they have a great run to give them the rest that's necessary to be able to recover and get ready for that second half of the season.
But I find that a lot of times coming off the bye weeks, teams are shaking off those cobwebs too. It looks as if they were off for 3 weeks sometimes. You get what I'm saying? And that is something like Dre was saying with the momentum. Like once you have a rhythm and a momentum going, it also depends on who you're playing against coming off the bye week. Mm-hmm. If it's like, okay, say if I'm Tampa Bay and my first game coming back from the bye week is the Packers, you get what I'm saying? That's going to be a little bit of a harder, adjustment than coming back against the Jets.
Yeah.
Also, my question to you, Tay, before we end the segment, do you see any sleeper teams this year? Or is it going to be the same old, like last year, the Chiefs, the Bills?
We're not talking about the Chiefs nearly as enough as we should be. They're making some moves, guys. They're making some moves. And at the end of the day, it's everybody loves a winner. Everybody's up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody's up that bandwagon now. Let's not forget that Patrick Mahomes played that game injured. And if he was not injured, it would have been it would have been more competitive. I don't know, different result, but more competitive. As far as sleeper teams, I'm going to want the Giants to do well, of course. I'm going to want Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley to have a chance to be that young team that we've been looking for them to be. I do see the Miami Dolphins doing much better this year. I see them doing well. But as far as getting to the big dance, you have your standards. You have your Bills. You have your Bucks. You have your Packers. You have your Chiefs. I don't see the Steelers being as good this season as they were last season either.
I think I think Tay makes some great points. I think what's interesting, because you talked about the Giants and we talked about Washington and Philly a little bit earlier, and Dallas as well. It's very interesting to note Washington is going to control that division. And it's not. Absolutely. I'm not saying Washington's the best team in that division. What I'm saying is the way that Washington's schedule is set up, they're going to control the fate of that division because Washington closes out their season with 5 straight division games. So
who do they play twice?
What?
Who do they play twice at the end?
I got to see what Washington's schedule is, but they finish off with 5 straight division games. Let me see if I can pull up their schedule here.
Because and that's all dependent as well. Because
here we go. So it looks like this is what it looks like. Yeah. Cowboys, Philly, Giants.
So them having to play the Cowboys twice is probably going to be tough for them. they can get past Philly, and then that Giants game is going to be tough as well.
Yeah, because I think they start with the Giants. They have the Giants in week 2. They do the Giants in week 2 and week 17, and then they play all 4 games against Philly and the Cowboys in a 4-week span. So Washington's really going to control the fate of that division.
I think. All right, let me tell you something. There's no way I see Washington beating Dallas twice back to back like that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say that now. I mean, with the Eagles, you never know. The Eagles are streaky. You get what I'm saying? But I cannot imagine that. I want to see how Dallas starts the season off before I make any determinations about them. You get what I'm saying? But there's no way. I don't see it happening. I could be wrong.
I mean,
we're disqualifying week 1. We're disqualifying week 1.
I think Washington has a chance to
everything else after that. Yeah.
They have a chance to play spoiler for all 3 teams, because if the Giants are in playoff contention and need to win the final week of the season to either cement a playoff spot or get into the playoffs, Washington can play spoiler. They can screw with Philly and Dallas at the end of the season at the same time, even if they split the games. I think it's just very interesting. In terms of sleeper teams, Dre, I really want to keep an eye on the 49ers this year. I think the 49ers can bounce back.
I think that's a sleeper team. I think that they're a threat.
No, I think they're a sleeper because they've underperformed. They do have a new quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Garoppolo that's going to start or if they're going to go with the rookie and Trey Lance and throw him into the fire. We don't know what's happening there. And I also think so I have 3. I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think that the Cleveland Browns can be a sleeper team. I think they can actually do very, very well, especially because I agree with Tay. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to be as good, right? And lastly, and y'all are going to lose your minds, I think the Chicago Bears can be a sleeper team this year.
About time you admit it. It's about time you admit it.
I just believe in Justin Fields.
My
believe in Justin Fields.
My sleeper team is the Saints.
What?
Yes.
Who do you have starting for them, Dre?
That's what I was just about to ask you. Who's their quarterback?
Doesn't matter who's
starting. It's Winston.
It should be Winston, but at this point, it doesn't matter which one of them because of the weapons around them. So
I think honestly, y'all sleeping on Pittsburgh a little bit too much. I felt like the only thing they were lacking was a rushing game, and they just picked up a really good running back in the draft. I think that was pretty much all they really need, because once you played Pittsburgh, you knew what they were going to do. They were going to throw the ball. Big Ben was going to throw the ball. Now they have a little bit more depth as far as the running. So I feel like Pittsburgh is going to be a sleeper team. I think y'all not giving them enough credit.
Y'all sleeping on me and Dre's team. Let me tell you why. I just thought about it.
Giants?
Yeah, let me tell you why. I just thought about it. They were this close to getting into the playoffs without Saquon, without any of their weapons. They were this close. You know what I'm saying?
I apologize. Go ahead.
And a whole bunch of people not catching a ball and everything, like and all the mess at the end of the season.
Jason Garrett. He may not have been the best head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, right? But he is the right offensive coach for the Giants.
I just realized something that we all kind of forgot to talk on.
What?
The Rams may be the most dangerous team in the NFL. They still have the best defense in the NFL, and they just got Matthew Stafford. They might be the biggest sleeper team in the league, because I don't think a lot of people give the Rams credit, but Stafford's a beast.
I don't think people
forgot about Stafford. I'm not gonna hold you.
I don't think anybody slept on the Rams because of that defense. They're always in the playoff talks as far as okay.
Yeah, but you never trusted
that's
Jerry
what you got to worry about. Yeah, but you that defense, you said it yourself. Defense wins games. Ain't that pretty much how Kansas City got stifled? You got to think about stuff like that.
That's
exactly
why Kansas City got stifled.
That's 100% the reason why. But like I was saying, I don't think anybody slept on the Rams. I think everybody keeps that in the back of their head. you know, we got all these potential teams. We know the potential in a lot of them, but I don't think anybody slept on the Rams. I think we all are in agreement that the Rams are probably the biggest threat to the Super Bowl winning.
And I would love to see Stafford in a run.
Somebody said the 49ers here. And we kind of forget that Garoppolo was running roughshod season before last. So those teams out in Cali, you get what I'm saying? I think that the 49ers could still be like, I didn't think about them now until I thought about they were just in the Super Bowl less than 2 seasons ago.
You also can't forget that last year they were mauled with injuries.
Mauled.
Like I said, a lot of these
I've never seen anything like that.
I think a lot of these teams that we looked at and were like, all right, they're probably not. Then like we're a little skeptical about. We got to also remember that it was a different type of season last season. COVID ran rampant on a lot of these teams, and a lot of people like ventured out and like basically said that they weren't playing this season. So that left a lot of teams hit. The Patriots is one team in particular that got hit because of that. So and they did pretty damn good in the draft. So I don't, like I said, we can sleep on a lot of these teams. I know in the back of our head we're all like, all right, the Rams is the team to beat. The Bucks is the team to beat.
I still think the Bills are the team to beat.
Buffalo's still the
team to beat.
There's only but so many times they're going to get that last minute disappointment.
Before we leave the NFL, can I just ask one last thing, Dre?
Yep.
Just to the whole panel, and I just looked at it just on a whim. If I tell you there's a team that I believe their 3 toughest games are 4 are against the Dolphins, the Bills, the 49ers, and the Rams. And the rest of their games are against pretty middle of the road teams. What would you think their record's going to be? And what would you say? Those are their 4 toughest games.
Well, it's 17 games in the season now, so it's kind of hard to say what you would used to say.
I'll tell you, they play the Texans. They play the Texans twice.
They're going to beat the Texans.
Texans, Broncos, Cardinals, Bengals, Titans, Dolphins, Seahawks.
Cardinals is not an easy win.
Bills, Colts, Niners, Falcons, Rams, Titans, Texans, Jets, Patriots, Colts. What do you think the record for Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars will be?
7-10. I think they miss out on the playoffs. I'm not saying but they won't be playing bad. I just think they will miss out on the playoffs. They'll lose. Go ahead. You unmute yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Urban got a gift.
I'll give them more than the 7-10 though.
Urban got a gift. This is a pretty easy schedule for Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, all right. Welcome to the NFL.
Welcome to the NFL.
That's how I see it. Look, 5-12. I'm sticking to it.
5-12.
You damn right.
5-12 is a bit
it's
shitty.
First season. It's their first season together. I don't. Lord,
it's the same.
You
but
gotta relax. You gotta relax. Jesus Christ. You gotta relax.
To be fair, I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing.
You think that's bad? I have a worse confession that I will never actually admit until the day that I die. That'll literally get me, I think, booted off of everything.
Put it in the chat. I wouldn't see it.
No, I can't say it.
Right.
Put it in the chat. I want to see it.
Put it in chat. You shouldn't have said it. Now you got to say it.
Now you got to say it.
While Pete is doing his confession, let's jump back into a little bit of boxing. We were talking about it last week. Canelo is now a unified, undisputed super middleweight champion. And we talk about Mayweather. We talk about Pacquiao. But is Canelo slowly climbing that ladder to being one of the best middleweights of all time? Queen, I'm start with you.
Yeah, there's a great argument to make for Canelo, which sucks because the reason why Canelo's not being spoken about in the same breath as the Pacquiaos and the Mayweathers is because there's not as many eyes on boxing as there used to be. I really thought that Canelo was going to lose for some reason, but I feel as if Canelo, you got to give him. He's the type of boxer you got to give him his flowers while you still can. He's been doing this for a while. He's been carrying boxing on his back. He really has been. So I can put him up there.
Someone posted, why isn't anyone talking about how Canelo being racist and saying he won't fight fellow Mexicans?
I never heard it.
I didn't hear it. I honestly didn't hear it, but I think, me personally, I think that it's more of a, I don't want to fight my own. I don't want to fight my own people while I'm trying to build up my people.
Yeah, but still,
that's how I see it.
The only way you bring up your people is you put them on the spotlight to dance with you.
That's a fact.
You don't.
That's a fact.
That is a fact. I like that.
I do want to give Canelo his flowers, but I do also want to. And we spoke about boxing last week, and one of the things that I realized I didn't mention in our conversation was, unfortunately, I think mainstream attention to boxing goes as the heavyweight division goes.
Facts.
And unfortunately, as great as Canelo is, he's not a heavyweight. And so if you're a boxing fan, or even you're a casual boxing fan, or maybe you pay attention to sports stuff, maybe you know who Canelo is. But those non-boxing fans who tuned in to watch Tyson and Lennox Lewis and Klitschko and Holyfield and all of that, they're not tuning in. They're not shelling out $40 to go to a bar to go see Canelo. Unfortunately, because I think boxing still moves as the heavyweights move, but we're starting to see less and less of the greatness of the heavyweight division.
Now, all right, I want to bring to attention kind of the comments that just came up. If this is something that Canelo did say, it's definitely wrong. You get what I'm saying? Nobody is glossing over it. I mean, me personally, this is my first time hearing it, so part of my ignorance to the situation. I don't want anybody to say that, not even a black a fighter or white fighter. I feel like the only way you kind of shine light on your people in a sport is giving them the opportunity to share the ring with your prestige. You get what I'm saying? A platform is everything. But the thing is, I want the right, when I say the right boxers on the right stage, I mean, you have to be a real competitor. Not because you're Mexican, I'm going to fight you because you're Mexican, and you're out there getting your ass with, fight after fight, and just to put you on the platform knowing that you can't carry the field, the ring. But if you are a legitimate competitor, why not? Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And I don't want any boxer of any race to say that. I feel like we get too bogged down by the racial divisions. You get what I'm saying? I want these boxers to be able. I do feel like Latino boxers are carrying the sport right now.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So let's not shy away from that.
So I while Tay was making her point, I looked it up, and I just want to make sure that we are. As a sports media platform, we are putting out the most accurate information, and we know how much media comes out, skews things. So this was back in January of this year.
I heard that part.
And Canelo said, quote, "I represent Mexico." So there was a conversation about a talk with Jamie Munguia, and I apologize if I butchered that name. Quote, "I represent Mexico, and I do not like to fight with Mexicans. I do not see any sense in doing that," Canelo said to TV Azteca. Jamie Mangua has potential, but he still has some fights to go before he reaches this level. I am not closing the door to anything, but for now, I would not like to fight with against other Mexican fighters. His last Mexican fight was against Julio Cesar Chavez in 2017.
So, Matt, I'm going to let you answer the first question first, and then I'm going to lead you, and then you're going to lead off into what he just said. Do you think Canelo is becoming one of the greatest middleweights of all time? And then after that, how do you feel about these comments?
All right. As far as Canelo Alvarez, do I see him as one of the great super middleweights? Definitely. One of them. Do I say he's like, I think he's slowly grazing into like, he's definitely top 15, but is he like grazing top 10? That's a debate, you know? Like, is he the Thomas Earns of the world, or the B-Hops, or the Sugar Ray Leonards? No, I don't think he's there quite yet, but he's definitely, like Tay said, he's kind of carried that division for like the last 5 to 8 years. So I mean, it's hard to say that he's not one of the greatest. So I'm gonna say like, yeah, he is. He's definitely one of the greatest. But I don't think he is.
You have to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just don't.
Mayweather carried boxing for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And then it'll take a hell of a fighter and a hell of a showman. A hell of a fighter and a hell of a showman to kind of carry the division on your back. And I would say for the past 4 or 5 years, you know what I'm saying, it's been Canelo. Yeah. Now, because of the boxing popularity decline, we're not seeing it as often. And I think that, you know, the greats are always subjective.
Yeah.
You know, but if he did say he didn't want to fight other Mexicans, I think it's wrong for him to say that.
I do too.
I don't. Reading the quote, you know what I'm saying? It's wrong. It's wrong. So,
right.
I mean, hearing the quote, I think it's more or less of one of those. You let the pride, you let your heritage and your pride get the best of your better judgment. So it's like I'm the hero complex, and I like to like equate that to like if we're talking wrestlers like Bret Hart. You know, he was a hero. He couldn't do. He had to do things his way. That's his mindset. He couldn't see outside of his mindset. So that could be Canelo Alvarez in that stance. Like he's thinking naively, and it comes off very ignorant.
On Bret Hart's name, period. And I'm going back.
I'm not discrediting Bret Hart though. That's the thing.
I've been seeing your little messages and all these little.
But all right, what I'm talking about right now, as far as the mentality, I'm trying to make it to where it makes sense, and as far as I am making it make sense. As far as his thinking, he's not seeing outside of his way.
What it's supposed to give, honey. It's not giving what it's supposed to give.
Bret Hart stands. Y'all need to relax. That's what y'all do. Y'all need to relax.
Giving what it's supposed to give.
Look, Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest middleweights. He is. But if you're putting on for your country, you have to have the mindset of you need to like put certain fighters that are from your country on, because they're not going to have that spotlight on them. You're the biggest spotlight. Mm-hmm. Shine that light on others, because you're not going to be boxing forever. Who's next up?
I want to avoid that. I want to just touch on that comment that was that Canelo's avoiding big fights. I don't want to say that I don't think Canelo's avoiding big fights, but the two people that I'm seeing that are like talking about wanting to fight Canelo, one is in his former weight class that he doesn't want to go back to, and the other one is a former champion who's trying to come back to the belt. So I don't want to say that he's avoiding big fights. I don't know who else is out there in the middleweight division for Canelo to fight. And if Canelo is legitimately ducking big fights for people who are lined up in the middleweight division, then I will keep the same energy for Canelo that I did for Mayweather when I said Mayweather ducked big fights when guys were in their prime, right? I will keep the same energy for Canelo. But I don't know if that's the truth, from what I know, because I don't know who's in the middleweight division right now for Canelo to fight.
Yeah, we haven't been. Let me tell you something. It shows you how boxing has faced such a decline because you're not hyped up for these fights. You know, there's no such. To me, I think almost everyone's a casual boxing fan, if you so much say it, because you're not seeing the Canelo fanfare like the Mayweather fanfare. And every big fighter has always been accused of avoiding the big fights.
Boxing's so political because he's the WBO champ. You know, I think he's
He's
unified.
definitely avoiding Charlo. That he don't want that problem.
He definitely, yeah.
He does not want that Charlo problem. I can
did.
tell you
He
that wholeheartedly. He's definitely
did.
avoiding that. I know that for a fact. I do remember that. But Benavidez, I don't know.
Well, the top three. The
I don't know
top
if he's
three
avoiding
in super
him, but-
middleweight. The top three in super middleweight for the WBO is 20-0 kid, British kid by the name of Parker, an American by the name of Jacobs, who's 37-3, and a Canadian boxer, Lemieux, who's 42-4.
Okay.
I don't know, you know, if he wants to, if you're gonna bring somebody up from middleweight to super middleweight, then yeah, you have Munguia, who is his Mexican Mexican compatriot at 36-0. You have Demetrius Andrade, who's the WBO middleweight champion at 30-0. So I think it depends if you're gonna have someone come up from middleweight to fight him at super middleweight, because you know Canelo's not gonna drop down.
Canelo's definitely not dropping down,
and he's not moving up to light heavyweight.
Right. So we have to see how this all pans out and where he ends up eventually. Again, not just because of his fights, but again his comments, because you know you're not putting anybody. You know, you're one of the biggest Mexican boxers right now, and you're not putting your people on. I hear the reasoning behind it, but you shouldn't.
No, your reasoning is not good. I can say, oh, that's your reasoning.
Like I said, I hear it, but yeah, I don't agree with it. Like it's.
I don't agree with any of those type of racial type of arguments ever.
Right.
It's boxing. You should want to fight the next one that's in line, who's in the standings. It should
I don't care how much money's on the table. You should always be wanting to fight the best fighter.
Yeah, you don't never want nationality should have nothing to do with it.
And that's what I think when boxing became big money, that's when everything changed. Because again, Muhammad Ali and those guys, they weren't making big bucks for fights. You know, but when boxing became all about the money that you get for the big fight, that's when we started to see boxers doing maybe 1, maybe 2 fights a year and only the big money fights, instead of fighting the people that they should be fighting, and that's anybody who's got the chops to contend for the title.
Agreed. Final topic of the day. The NBA playoffs are right around the corner. The play-in tournament is just about set. We're going to bring this question up again next week, because the play-in tournament is next week. But as of right now, prior to seeing the play-in tournament, do you have any sleepers in either conference that can sneak up and take the crown, not just from the Lakers, from the Clippers, from the usual suspects this year? Do you have anybody that's going to get upset in like in the first or second round? Matt, I'm gonna start with you.
In the Western Conference, I mean,
any conference.
Look at the standings right now. Out of the play-in tournament, the only one that stands a chance in this thing is the Lakers. I mean, granted, light-skinned Jesus is there. And the Hawks is not beating the Knicks. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not even a thought.
Hawks is not beating the Knicks.
I'm not even.
That's a dub.
All right, that is a dub. 100%. They got lucky and they beat. Not lucky. They beat Washington, but look at where Washington is at, and look at the state of that team. That team is nothing compared to the Knicks. You're not dropping 125 points on the Knicks. It's not happening. So, and I don't care how good Trey is, and what's the other one name? I forgot his name. The forward. What's his name?
Collins.
Yeah, John Collins.
It's
something with a J, but yeah, I don't care how good they are. They're not beating that Knicks team. I'm sorry, it's just not happening.
They've been swept by the Knicks in the regular season.
I don't think they're going to get swept in the playoffs, but I don't think that they're beating the Knicks in a 7-game series. It's just not happening. But I feel like the game to watch out of the play-in tournament. realistically speaking, is the Lakers and the Warriors.
Well, not outside the playing tournament because we can't really. The Lakers been mauled with injuries as well. So
I hear that.
Like, come on, like, who wants to play LeBron James in the first round? Like, who
wants to play LeBron James in the first round?
San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
You know, Greg Popovich will take a lot of pleasure in knocking LeBron James out of the playoffs.
I'm mad you even mentioned the San Antonio Spurs right now, like in this climate that we're like.
Tay, who is your sleeper right now?
Gold.
Who out your mind? What? Speak your piece, bro.
He said the Spurs when you said the Spurs.
Oh,
when he said the Spurs.
Well, I was about to say he's wild.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I don't see any. I don't
go that far either.
I don't know about all
go that far either. They'll be lucky to get out the Western Conference the way they've been playing.
You was giving good conversation until you said Lakers back-to-back players.
Yeah. I hope so.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm surprised at how bad the Lakers have been playing. They've been mauled by injuries, yes. But I am surprised that they have not amassed a better record than where they are right now. I could see them being upset on. Just being honest. I could see somebody making their bones on the Lakers during the whatever. I think, the Golden State Warriors, I think that they have a really, really strong chance to make a deep, deep run. What happened?
I ain't gonna hold you. If Light Skin Jesus shows up in all his glory in this playing game, and it's like the NCAA is a one-game thing. Look, this is any given Sunday rules, meaning like something can happen. Anything can happen. Because
Thank you, Top Waivers.
Good looking out, brother. Good looking out.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Follow us
that.
Yerrr Sports Show on Instagram, Twitter. We everywhere.
But yeah, like I was saying, bro, if Light Skin Jesus show up in form, like his first Sunday, LeBron in trouble. I'm telling you, LeBron is in trouble.
Yes, absolutely.
Look,
absolutely.
I know I said what I said last year about Dame Dollars, who's still a problem. But Dame Dollars
is it seven versus
holler from Dame last year?
If it's is it 7 versus 8?
Can I
and 9 versus 10?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
How you was hooting and hollering for Dame Dollars last year? We couldn't come past. We had like 3 episodes dedicated to Dame
because he's a problem. Because he's a problem. You make sure you add that to it. We talk about Dame Dollars because he is a problem.
Way more
a problem.
Dame
That man
Dame Dash.
He is a killer.
We're talking about him way more than you ever
killer.
Come on.
As much as we talk about Dame Dollars being a killer, he's Satan on that basketball court. Light-skinned Jesus might do some. He might do some miracles in this play-in tournament. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's not a miracle. Who on the Lakers is guarding?
Not a damn soul. Not a damn soul.
I'm just making sure we all agree on that.
Soul. They better shut down that whole team.
Please, close us out. What is your thoughts? Who is the sleeper that you guys are seeing that will probably knock somebody out?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think. We've been talking about them. They've been the big story, but I think the Knicks can definitely be a second-round team. Definitely could be a second-round team, and I think it also depends who they play in the second round. If the Knicks play a Milwaukee in round 2, I don't want to be Milwaukee playing the Knicks in round 2 because I think Milwaukee could get beat by the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks could beat a Philly or a full-strength Brooklyn, but I think they could beat a Milwaukee. I don't think any of the teams in the Eastern Conference play-in tournament are really, really dangerous, but I think Boston, if they get their ish together, Boston could be okay. Here's my big thing. I agree with what Matt said and what Chase said also about the Warriors. If the Warriors here's the thing. The Warriors only have to go, or even the Lakers, only have to go 1-1.
Exactly.
Right? So it's going to be, right now, if the standings stay the way they are, it'll be the Lakers versus Golden State. It'll be Memphis versus San Antonio. Right? The Lakers have a chance to sneak in and push Portland to the play-in game. Okay? But here's the thing. If I'm the Lakers, I don't want to go into a first-round series against Denver. Now, I think Denver –
But Portland has to lose tonight, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The Lakers still have a chance to avoid the play-in game. But would you rather play Golden State, lose, and then probably beat either San Antonio or Memphis and still make the playoffs? Or would you rather go into a series against Denver? And even though I think Denver has the most questions because I don't know how far they go without Jamal Murray.
They have Aaron Gordon.
No, they have Aaron Gordon.
Are we putting Aaron Gordon in the same category as Jamal Murray?
No, but I'm putting what's his name?
Gordon, you have Porter Jr. and you have Jokic.
Porter Jr.
Now, yes,
Porter Jr. is a monster too, and
Okay.
I think a non Dre.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Was talking about him last
I definitely
season.
agree with that. But when you said, they have Aaron Gordon, like
No,
Aaron
meaning like they
Gordon
have
is
the extra help that they didn't have last year.
I'm about to
That's
say,
what I'm
Matt,
trying to
come
tell
on.
you. That's what I'm saying. Relax.
Yeah, so I think for me the biggest sleeper team
It's Golden State.
is Golden State. I think the team that could be in the most has the most to lose in the West is Denver, because again, I think they can beat a play-in opponent, but I don't know. I mean, I think they could beat Portland in a series if they ended up having to play Portland. But when you get into that second round, the loss of Jamal Murray, I think is really going to weigh on them. And I think the East, the biggest thing is the Knicks. But I'm going to throw this out there. Miami didn't lose anybody.
At all.
And
They gained Trevor Ariza.
I will say this. If Miami goes into the playoffs having played possum this season and then turn it on in the playoffs, they can be very, very dangerous.
They lost Oladipo earlier in the week.
But they didn't have Oladipo last year.
They didn't have Oladipo last year. But I think the addition of Trevor Ariza and everybody else being healthy, Miami is still dangerous. I still think that the Knicks have a possibility of knocking out any one of the seeds higher than them.
That's why I said I think Milwaukee. If they play Milwaukee in the second round, they can beat Milwaukee.
What did you say, Tay?
One of them.
Any one of them.
At
Yeah.
any given day.
I don't know if they can beat I don't know if they can beat Philly in a series.
I
Series?
think
I don't
they
know,
can,
man. Doc Rivers is the coach of Philly, right?
Yeah.
If they go up 3-1, you know what time it is, bro. So,
And listen, I know we all have our questions about Brooklyn. I do too, even as a Brooklyn fan.
Spencer Dinwiddie might come back too.
It's hard on paper to see the Knicks beating a full-strength Nets team in a 7-game series.
But the thing is, if the Knicks make it to the second round, right, they'll run into Philly in the second round, because I believe it's first and eighth plays the winner of fourth and fifth, if I'm not mistaken.
Philly would essentially be playing one of the playing teams.
Philly would either play because you got Boston versus Charlotte. I think Boston wins that game. Indy versus Washington.
I don't know. I think Charlotte beats Boston.
Boston.
I think Charlotte beats Boston right now.
Then you got
Jaylen Brown is gone.
Indianapolis versus Washington. So if Charlotte wins that game, Charlotte will play Brooklyn in the first round. Whoever wins,
No.
Yeah, whoever wins the 7-8 becomes the
7 seed.
becomes the 7 seed, which means they would play Brooklyn.
Yes.
And then you got Indianapolis and Washington, which I think will be a really good game.
They'll play the Sixers.
Well, no, whoever loses that game whoever wins that game then has to play the loser of Boston Charlotte.
Right. So Boston can still get into the playoffs.
Right. Boston would only have to go 1-1, or Charlotte only has to go 1-1.
Look, and I just want to throw this out there. Kemba Walker is
Garbage.
If this was y'all savior for y'all Kyrie Irving argument.
So the thing now is,
get him. I'm about to say, Tay took the glasses off. She about to get him.
I gotta go.
I think Philly beats any one of those teams. I think Brooklyn beats those teams. So if you knock those out, okay, Philly and Brooklyn go to the next round. I think
Milwaukee and you know it.
I think Milwaukee
overrated as hell.
If Atlanta loses their last game,
Milwaukee's overrated.
So is Kyrie Irving. Okay?
No, he's not.
Yes,
no, he's not.
Pete, it's over. Don't even worry about it. Pete, it's over. Don't even worry about it.
Man, put some respect on Kyrie Irving, man.
No.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Pete, leave it. Let them do it. It's okay. It's okay.
I just realized something.
What's up? Because we gotta close off.
If the Knicks go to the 4th seed, yes. Atlanta can only be as worse as the 5th seed, which means if Miami will go to 6, which means Miami will play Milwaukee in the first round.
Oh, bye Milwaukee. Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Miami.
Bye,
second round. You mean second round.
No,
we mean first.
No, Philly would play a play-in team. Brooklyn would play a play-in team. Milwaukee would then play the 6th seed, which would be Miami if the Knicks get the 4th seed.
Lady
and the Knicks would play the Hawks at 5.
It is all good. Bye, Giannis. That is the worst thing that could happen. That is the absolute worst thing that could have happened to Giannis.
If the Knicks get – listen, I think Milwaukee's screwed either way. I think Milwaukee is screwed either way because Milwaukee's either going to play – if the Knicks get the 4th seed, it'll be Milwaukee versus Miami. And if the Knicks don't get the 4th seed and they stay in 6, it's Milwaukee versus the Knicks.
To be fair and be transparent, Milwaukee has a better chance of beating the Knicks than they do Miami.
I think the Knicks can beat them.
I think
the Knicks can beat them, but
I feel like Jimmy Butler got Giannis's heart. I'm sorry.
Jimmy Butler got a lot of people's hearts.
Like he got his heart. Right?
But
and let me ask you a question: how is Julius Randle not in the MVP conversation?
He is.
He's in it. But
we'll see.
You got Joker. You got Embiid, who's been.
Embiid is
like
probably
crazy.
Out the conversation because he's been.
Yeah, I think they're all leaning to Joker now.
It's going to be Joker, and it is what it is.
Not if he get killed out the first round.
Westbrook and Julius Randle to me have to be in the conversation.
We'll see. We'll bring that up next week, and when the playoffs start, and see what what the field is like. But again, shout out to the Job Tiz Network. Us at the Yerrr Sports Show, the Job Tiz Podcast, 2.5 Bros, Sazone Talk. My friends at Talk of Champions, Tavius Tea Time, BK Matt, and myself, Brooklyn BS, and Mr. I got a wrestling promotion, but don't want to tell nobody when the date is out.
I am so disappointed. I was shocked and appalled.
It got confirmed on Wednesday, and then I spent the next 24 hours trying to get in contact with talent because I'm trying to get everything locked up.
Whoa. Yeah.
But
yeah, listen.
Shocked and appalled.
And I was going to end up, and the thing is, and I don't usually go to wrestling shows, and I was going to go.
You know what? I'm expecting a phone call. Someone wish me all the best in my future endeavors.
We'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that in the chat. But again, shout out to everybody.
Get a trash bag in the mail.
Real quick. That's tough. But shout out to Battle Club Pro. Their shows next week on the 29th.
One for you every episode coming
week afterwards.
Oh, it is up. It is up. It is up. And it's stuck. It's a wrap, bro. But again, shout out to Battle Club Pro. They're having their open house for their new wrestling school coming on Sunday, and their show is next Saturday. 2 shows one day. So for the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado. For BK Matt
episode.
Oh man. for BK Matt, for the Queen, the voice slayer,
We didn't see it yet.
We didn't see it yet.
Look at the
Hold
chat.
on.
Yeah.
It is your boy, Big Baby, signing off. Peace.